Welcome back, Commander. In this video we're going to be looking at Mass Effect 4 and some squad mates. If this is your first time here, I make Mass Effect videos and I've got plenty on my channel already, so make sure you check out them after this one. Mass Effect 4 may be some time off, but that isn't going to stop us from speculating. Now, we've already met quite a few species in the galaxy. We've met Quarians, Asari, Turians and Krogan. But what about all the species that we've not met yet? Or should I say, not had the pleasure of joining us on our crew? You tell me in the comments down below, who would you like on your crew? Alright, you ready? Let's do this. When humans began to colonise the Skyllian Verge, a region the Batarians had already claimed, they asked the Council to intervene and declare the Verge an area of Batarian interest. When the Council refused, the Batarians closed their Citadel embassy and severed diplomatic relations. The Batarians are mostly made up of criminal organisations, pirates, slavers, warlords, and attacked the human colony of Elysium in what is now known as the Skyllian Blitz. The humans retaliated, completely crushing the Batarians' strongholds on the moon of Torfan. This resulted in the Batarians retreating from Citadel space and holding a deep grudge against humans. Further relations between the humans and the Batarians were at breaking point when Commander Shepard sent an asteroid into the Alpha Relay to delay the arrival of the Reapers. The destruction of the mass relay sent a shockwave out, obliterating the Batarian system, killing 300,000 Batarians. With all this history between the Batarians and the humans, having a Batarian crewmate could lead to some very interesting trust issues and you might have to deal with. Would they have your back in a firefight? Would they be trying to sabotage your mission or the ship? This extra depth of someone who's on your team is definitely something I'd like to see. The Volus are not particularly adept compared to most species. Their background is mostly through trade and commerce. However, although they have contributed much to the Citadel, including set up the Unified Currency Act, which establishes the credit as the standard currency in trade negotiations, they've never been invited to join the Council. However, unlike the Batarians, they do have an embassy. The Volus have to wear special protective suits, as due to the atmosphere of every other planet apart from their own being poisonous to them. So could we see a Volus member of the crew? Although some Volus have known to be biotic, due to them not being fighters, I would find it hard to see them as a member of the ground squad. It's possible that it could be part of the actual ship crew using their talents to aid you in other ways. One of the most notable Volus is Barlavon, who's a financial advisor, but also an agent of the Shadow Broker. So could you have a Volus on your team who could install into a company and then generate an income for you? On a side note, I have just unlocked a Volus in multiplayer. Saturday 9 PM UK time if you'd like to join us, and I must say I wouldn't mind taking the Volus out in a fight alongside me. They are pretty quick. Known for their devotion to their religious beliefs and the Protheans, or the Enkindlers as they call them, the Hanar are one of the Citadel's non-bipedal races. In fact, they look a lot like giant jellyfish. Which is understandable, I suppose, because their homeworld is actually made up of 90% water. I'm not really sure how having a Hanar species on your crew would actually work, as a water native Hanar can't support their own weight in normal gravity. When they're off-world, they rely on levitation packs that use Mass Effect fields. Their limbs can grip tightly, but they're not strong enough to lift more than a few hundred grams each. However, they have saved the Drell and trained them to be assassins, so they are very well versed in combat techniques. Could having them on your ship be beneficial to any Drell squad mates you may have in the field? Not to mention one of the most famous Hanar is Blasto, the first Hanar Spectre. Okay, so that's a comic stroke movie within the game, but could you imagine having a Hanar Spectre join your crew? That would be pretty amazing. The Elcor are massive and strong species, however they originate from a high gravity world which has also made them slow, so probably not the best species for fieldwork. But like the Volus and the Hanar, could they be used as a ship specialist? Well, again, I'm not very sure. As well as being big and strong, like I said, they are quite slow in nature. By not being the quick decision makers, they rely very heavily on VIs in their military for high pressured situations. This wouldn't translate well to being on a ship, for instance, and being attacked, and you need to make a snap decision. In fact, I'm really struggling to find any reason why you'd want an Elcor on your team. They usually prefer to stay on their colonies rather than travel in space. They're not big financial experts like the Volus, and although very extremely developed, the Elcor economy is quite small, and their speech is monotone, so they prefix all their dialogue with an emotive statement, and it will clarify their tone, such as this.
Chastising remark. Don't be so rude, Dan.
But I could be wrong. Would you want an Elcor travelling with you? Let me know in the comments. And give it a boom on the like button. The Vorcha would be my pick as the next crew member, a primitive race that live along the galaxy's most darker and seedier locations. Seen as the galaxy's pests and scavengers, they can be brutal and savage by nature, but they are able to adapt to different environments. The Vorcha are the shortest lived species currently known, with an average lifespan of around about 20 years. Although often shorter because of the lack of resources on their planet, the Vorcha constantly fight each other over what's available. This has made each generation of the Vorcha stronger and more aggressive than the last, but their continued lack of resources has kept the Vorcha society extremely primitive. The biology is amazing, as it's able to adapt to any environment they travel to, anywhere in the galaxy. Land on a planet with toxic gas, their lungs would adapt to make it more breathable. Maybe a planet with high gravity, the legs would become stronger so they can move and stand without restrictions. The only downside is that it's not a quick process, and due to their short lifespan, adapting to a new environment would be most likely only to happen once in their lifetime. Because of their primitive nature, I think they would make some great writing amongst the crew banter, and they'd be definitely handy in a fight, but not so much as a romance option though. So there we have it. 5 species that could possibly be on your crew in the Mass Effect 4. Let me know who you think is best. And if you want to see my thoughts on should Shepard return for Mass Effect 4, click the links on screen now. And a big thank you to Nerdy Dude and Beverly for your support. And I'll see you next time. Commander.